thank you for all the wisdom and pray that you give it to us today. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Suji Druckstrom,
President.
Commissioner Lori Hyde,
Here.
Commissioner Nora Castaneda,
President.
Dr. Gary Wesson,
Present.
Dr. Ray Callis,
Doc, you're mute.
Dr. Ray Callis.
You're on mute. Only been
Here.
5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm here.
We're gonna do this, all right?
I got 15 things muted. I'm sorry. I'm here.
Vice Chair Tom Butler.
Nobody's paying you for your humor. Here. Nobody's paying you for your humor.
Chairman Rick Figueroa.
Here. Unfortunately, I think I'm here with the comedians. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you for that. Okay, commissioners, we're gonna go to items. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Item C on public comment, and I think we only have one, right, Yvonne?
Sir.
Sean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna read some instructions to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we have, if anyone here wishing to address the commission on a matter that is not on the agenda, you're here to contest case or rule, we'll call upon you when you get on that item of the agenda. If you want to speak, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and we'll keep track of that, okay? And we can't answer any questions.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
You ready?
You're ready.
Thank you. I timed this out exactly to 3 minutes, but. Good morning, Executive Director Arbor, Chairperson Figueroa, and the TDLR commissioners and staff. I'm Sean Wheelock, an Executive Vice President and the television commentator for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, also known as BKFC. I previously proudly served for 8 years as a commissioner for the Kansas Athletic Commission. I began in combat sports at age 22 as a professional boxing referee. I'm before you this morning to respectfully ask you to please consider allowing BKFC to hold events here in the great state of Texas. BKFC is currently legal in 26 states, including California, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana, Florida, and Pennsylvania. We've also been legalized by numerous ABC member tribal commissions, including the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, which is headed by the president of the ABC, Mike Mazzulli. Additionally, we've held fully sanctioned and regulated events in 6 foreign nations. Since our launch in June 2018, BKFC has held 1,204 bouts across 114 events. All have been fully legal, sanctioned, and regulated through the presiding athletic commissions. Last year, BKFC held 31 events. This year, we have scheduled 44 events across 8 nations. And our sincere hope and desire is that we will be able to hold a number of these events here in Texas in 2025 and beyond. Last month, BKFC had a sold-out attendance of 17,762 in Philadelphia, the largest fight crowd in that city since September 1951, topping every single UFC, Bellator, and professional boxing card over the last 74 years. In 2024, BKFC regularly exceeded 7,000 in cities ranging from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale to Albuquerque. For our Spain debut in the city of Marbella, our attendance was 9,886. In a BKFC co-promotion with Ryzen MMA in Japan, the attendance was a sold-out 48,117. I myself and all of us at BKFC view the TDLR as the gold standard in the regulation of combat sports. BKFC holds all bouts under the ABC's unified rules of bare knuckle fighting, which were adopted without dissent at the 2023 ABC annual convention. Within this, we will happily follow all additional rules and regulations as set forth by the TDLR. If we're allowed to hold events in Texas, we would bring arena shows annually to Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, with attendances routinely exceeding 15,000 people. We would also bring mid-sized BKFC events to smaller Texas cities across the state with attendances of 5,000 to 8,000. All of our cards in Texas would have major BKFC stars as well as numerous Texas-based fighters. BKFC is one of 2 fight promotions in the world, the other being the UFC, to employ a full-time chief medical officer. Ours is Dr. Don Mutzi, MD, a neuroanesthesiologist and the past president of the Association of Ringside Physicians. In closing, if you allow BKFC to Texas, we have a major card standing by for one of your major cities, which we project will sell over 18,000 tickets. We would then love to make Texas one of our home bases for BKFC. Thank you.
Outstanding job, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And we do have work group, but I think Dr. Callis is going to be heading our work group, so you are on our radar.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Jim, man, I don't think we can. All right, executive session. We're going to go into executive session to consult with our attorneys. That's item B, sections 551.071, subsection 1 and 551.7071, section 2. 551, 5074 Governance Code. The time is 8:35. How much time do you think we'll need? Doug, how much time do you think we'll need?
My portion for you is probably up 15 or 20 minutes.
Let's round it to 30. So let's say,
We may need to build in some time if there's some personnel. I think we've also.
okay, so let's do
Personnel items.
9:10.
Okay.
9:10. So after executive, we'll take a break and come back here at 9:10, pick up any action items on the executive session items. And we'll begin with contested cases. Thank you. Doug, we're in here, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners only. back to order. There was no action needed on executive sessions. Item F, minutes. I'll take a motion. So moved. Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item G, contested cases. Okay, if anyone is appearing in person for a contested case today, we'll call upon you when your case is announced. We'll hear from the prosecutor first, and we'll hear from you. You'll have the opportunity to speak. Please make sure you speak clearly, say your name, who you represent. Each side will have 5 minutes to speak, with up to 3 minutes for rebuttal if needed. Please understand that the commission can only consider information that is in the record from when the case was heard at SOA. So you must limit your comments to those matters that were presented to the SOA hearing. Okay? I'm gonna go with item 1 under G, which is Turner. Jessica, are you here? James Turner? Yes, sir. Grab a seat right here. Welcome, Mr. Turner. Did you understand the rules I said earlier? Yes, sir. Okay, let's see, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Hurtado, and I'm a prosecutor in the Enforcement Division. The ALJ recommends that you deny James Turner's application for an ACR technician license based on his criminal history. I ask that you adopt the PFD as written. In 2004, the applicant was convicted of felony theft and placed on community supervision for 4 years. The applicant's supervision was revoked in 2008, and he was sent to prison. Then in 2018, the applicant was convicted of aggravated sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child, sexual contact, both felony offenses. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. According to the offense report, the victim was the applicant's 12-year-old daughter, and the victim told police that the applicant took off her pants and began touching her while she was asleep. He was 34 years old when these offenses occurred. The ALJ found that the applicant's convictions for sexual assault and indecency with a child are directly related to the duties and responsibilities of a licensed occupation. Specifically, the ALJ found that granting the applicant a license would tend to place him in settings such as homes, schools, and daycares where children could be present. And thus, licensing the applicant would create a risk or opportunity for the applicant to commit similar offenses in the future. In analyzing the Chapter 53 factors, the ALJ notes that both sex offenses occurred when the applicant was a grown adult. The applicant was released from prison in August 2022 and has been off parole for less than 2 years. Additionally, while the applicant testified that he is now sober, he offered no evidence of rehabilitation related to his offenses and no evidence regarding his work activity or conduct since his release from prison. The ALJ, he also presented no letters of recommendation from members of the community. The ALJ concludes the applicant has not demonstrated why he should be trusted to enter into premises where he may have access to children. Therefore, the ALJ concludes a preponderance of the evidence weighs against the applicant and recommends that you deny his application. I ask you adopt the PFD as written, and I'm available to answer your questions. Thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Howard? Okay, Mr. Turner?
So, yeah, I've done some things in my life that I'm not proud of and so forth. But as far as trying to, you said to give you guys what you wanted, rehabilitation or what have you, you can put it on paper all you want. You can show somebody something and it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day. And I've conducted myself as a law-abiding citizen since I've been out of prison. Like I said, I've made some mistakes. I've done some things wrong. And I'm well past that. I'm not who I used to be. I've changed my ways and done what I've needed to do to take care of my business, my family. All my kids live with me. Every last one of them. And the drinking and stuff like that, and medications that I was taking and stuff, I have no desire. But I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I change it one step at a time, every day. I make that decision constantly to improve and be better than I was before. And I'm not looking to go into nursing homes or schools or anything like that. I'm going in for commercial, refrigeration is what I'm looking at. And I've lost, a couple opportunities in the jobs, that were for, that. Husband, JCI, big name companies, because of this whole thing here. I can't get my license, then, I mean, there's nothing, they don't want me because I can't get my license. And I feel that with having these licenses, I can continue to be a productive member of society, do the things that's needed to be done with me, provide for my family, myself, and keep doing what I need to do to make every day better and make myself better. So I'm just asking that you reconsider. I mean, we're supposed to be a second chance country. I need a second chance. That's all I say.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Turner, thank you for coming, presenting yourself. It's a hard thing to do with your criminal history and your past. And so I commend you for that. I'd like to see you stay on the straight and narrow. I can't tell you what to do, but I think AA is always a good thing. There are also other programs out there to address some of your other predilections and things that you've done in the past to keep you on the straight and narrow. So I want to commend you for that, first of all. I know that's a hard thing to do. I don't know what the commission's going to do, but sometimes these cases, and especially these types of cases, are a concern to us. And sometimes there's just not enough time. So we trust, but we verify. And one of those things means time, right? Tell us who you are over time. And it may just not be enough time. And so keep doing what you're doing. Stay on the right path. Sometimes life is hard. But I think that's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Take the motion.
I make a motion that we adopt PFD as written.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? My motion carries. Mr. Turner, this is your only options. You can go seek other options. My advice to you is to take Mr. Vice Chair Butler's advice. I think there is light, not today, but there could be light. So continue on, sir. All right, Commissioner, go to item 2. Ms. Kane and over there. I don't, is Ms. Kane?
No.
Is Mr. Kane here? No, okay. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Natalie Olvera. I'm a prosecutor in the Enforcement Division. The ALJ recommends you deny Chance Thomas Kane's license application for an apprentice electrician license based on his criminal history. I ask you adopt the PFD as written. In July of 2019, Mr. Kane was placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of assault family household member impeding breath or circulation, a felony. He was placed on community supervision for 3 years. In 2020, Mr. Kane's probation was extended by 1 year due to violating the terms and conditions of his probation. Additionally, in 2022, Mr. Kane's probation was extended again for 1 year for again failing to abide by the terms and conditions of his probation. Then in 2023, Mr. Kane's probation was extended by 3 years for violating again the terms of his conditions of his probation. In November of 2020, Mr. Kane was placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of assault family household member with a previous conviction, a felony. He was placed on community supervision for 3 years. As with the previous offense, Mr. Kane's probation was again extended in 2022 by failing to abide by the terms of his probation. In August of 2022, Mr. Kane was placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of assault family household member impeding breath or circulation, again a felony. He was placed on community supervision for 6 years. And again, as with before, in 2023, Mr. Kane's probation was extended again to violating his probation. His probation is expected to terminate on or about August 22nd, 2028. All of Mr. Kane's assault offenses are guideline crimes for electricians. He has a repeated history of disregarding rules and requirements set before him. As electricians deal directly with the public, Mr. Kane has demonstrated a propensity for violent encounters. Mr. Kane's offenses occurred when he was between the ages of 20 to 23 years old, but all were serious felonies. Mr. Kane testified he was in the process of staying clean and wanted to go to counseling for additional help. He acknowledged his violent history and stated he was also currently attending a batterers intervention prevention program, but had not completed the rehabilitative programs yet. I ask the commission to adopt the PFD as written and deny Mr. Kane's license application for apprentice electrician license. I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions, Commissioners?
So I move.
Make
Commissioner Callis, can you take this amendment that we need to correct the conclusion of law number 13 to the current version of the statute?
Yeah.
Okay. A second.
Is there a second? There's a motion. There's a second for the amendment. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so there.
Next, we have Mr. Richard Gomez, who
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Gomez, come on up. I apologize. Gomez, and then Keisha Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gomez, Ms. Garcia, do you understand the rules I read earlier?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners and Chairman. My name is Natalie Olvera. I'm a prosecutor in the Enforcement Division. The ALJ recommends you deny Mr. Richard Gomez's renewal license application for a Class A barber license and revoke his current Class A barber's license based on his criminal history. I ask that you adopt the PFD as written. In May of 2023, Mr. Gomez was placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of aggravated sexual assault of a child, a felony. Mr. Gomez was sentenced to community supervision for 10 years to terminate on or about May of 2033. Mr. Gomez's sex assault of a child is a guideline crime for barbers. Licensees have direct contact with the public and are often in settings with no one else present. Additionally, a person with predisposition for crimes involving prohibited sexual conduct involving children would have the opportunity to engage in further similar conduct in barbershop settings. Mr. Gomez's offense occurred when he was 19 years old, but the seriousness of the crime outweighs the youthful age. The age of the sex assault victim was 12 years old. Mr. Gomez testified all his friends were with younger girls, so he thought it was okay too. As a condition of Mr. Gomez's probation, he is currently a registered sex offender and cannot be around minors. A Class A barber's license comes with no restrictions placed on it. A licensee can practice again in an array of settings and on all ages. There are no restricted licenses available in the barbering profession, and the department does not have the authority to agree to any restrictions placed on the license. Additionally, there are no mechanisms in place to monitor compliance with any restrictions. Mr. Gomez testifies he attends church regularly, has regular counseling appointments, returned to college for OSHA training, and is currently works as a small engine mechanic. He also completed a cognitive substance abuse program in 2023. Mr. Gomez also had a former employer testify at the hearing. She did not believe he was a danger to the public, but she would think twice before hiring a sex offender to work in her barbershop without getting to know them first. 2 additional letters of recommendation were submitted, but it's unknown whether the letter writers were aware of Mr. Gomez's criminal history at the time they submitted the letters. While it appears Mr. Gomez is on the right path to rehabilitation due to the recentness and the nature of his offense, he was placed again on deferred adjudication in 2023. There has not been enough time to demonstrate Mr. Gomez has been fully rehabilitated. I ask the commission to adopt the PFD as written and deny Mr. Richard Gomez's renewal license application for a Class A barber license and revoke his current Class A barber's license based on his criminal history. I'm available to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any questions? Okay. Mr. Gomez.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Richard Gomez. I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to consider me for relicensing. I want to start by saying that I've been on probation now going on almost 2 years without a single hiccup. I've completed every payment. I've already almost completed my fine. I've taken every precaution, every measure to try to prove that I am a productive member of society with holding down a job ever since I've got out of the rehab. I've taken every matter I could that I could think possible to try to prove that I made a horrible choice and that it wasn't a mistake, it was just a bad choice, and that I would never consider or even think about doing anything like that again. Ever since I've been out, I haven't gotten even a speeding ticket or anything. I've been trying my hardest to prove that I am rehabilitated and that I could be a good member to society. And if there's anything anything else that I could prove, I'm willing to go and do that. What should I call it? Think of anything else. But other than that, that's yeah.
Ms. Garcia?
Thank you.
Objection,
for this
Your
time.
she did not testify at the hearing.
Doug, is this family?
Yeah, it's my mother, Your Honor.
Doug,
I guess I just have to inquire as to
is it a
the
character?
nature of the testimony, if it's simply to support the respondent or if it's additional testimony that's not in the record.
Are you gonna add any facts to the issue, or are you
No,
just here
sir.
for character?
I just,
Did the mother submit any kind of statement at the trial?
No, Commissioner.
Do we have that latitude or not, Doug?
I don't believe so, Chairman. If it's going to be any kind of additional character testimony or rehabilitative testimony, that's the very kind of thing that should have been in the record.
We'll note that you're here. I'm sorry, we have to maintain, but we know we'll note that you're here.
yes, sir, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gomez? Sometimes it's the nature of the case, sometimes it's the length of time, right? You were here a few minutes ago when I said the same thing. What's troubling is that you're a young man. You're gonna do stupid things. The problem is some of those stupid things will follow you around for the rest of your life, right? Some of them, nobody ever bats an eye at. You put on a 50-pound backpack that you're gonna have to carry for the rest of your life at your young age, and that breaks my heart. But you know, there is a victim in this case too, right? She's got to carry for the rest of her life whatever happened in this case. So I want to commend you for coming here. I want to commend you for the steps that you've taken to right your life. You've got a long life ahead of you. You need to find a good career, stay at it, and keep your nose clean. I'm happy to hear that you're in church, but you don't just need to go to church. You need to actually live what you hear there. And so I don't know what the commission will do, but my recommendation to you is keep your nose clean, because you could go to prison for a long time if you do anything stupid between now and the end of your deferred adjudication. So I guess this is just my warning and to you to you've got a long life ahead of you. Keep your nose clean. Learn from your mistakes. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other comments?
Were you dating? Or was it?
It was, she thought we were dating, but at the time I wasn't taking girls' feelings into consideration. I was just bouncing from girl to girl, and it was completely irresponsible, completely arrogant and just mean, and it wasn't right, and I should have never done it at all. It was never her fault either. It was always me. I should have known. I should have been aware of the consequences of my actions, and all I can say is I'm sorry.
Any other questions? Okay. Before you take this, I let you like that. Yeah, you're talking to the two oldest guys that have been on this commission here. Not the oldest guys, but just the two longest. Older people here. Glad to deal with that. But to you and both who's been forward, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's a path, and that path. I've had my many victories, and I can't remember them all, but I've had many defeats. I can tell you what I was wearing, who was in the room, and what the weather was like. The defeats are seared in your head, but they build the character of your future. So be mindful of that. Even if it's a defeat today, be mindful of those, because those will create more character. Okay. All right. Just wanted to give my 2 cents. I very rarely do that, by the way. Any other comments? Okay. I will take a motion.
Make a motion to accept the PFD.
Again, Doc, will you take an amendment?
Yes, sir. I'll take the amendment to make sure that it's under the right statute.
Yeah, no. The fact of finding number one should reflect the current license number of the respondent. That should be corrected.
Yes, sir. I will accept that.
Good catch. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. There'll be, this is the end of the road. Staff will get with you, and if you have any questions, make sure you follow up with us, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, commissioners, we're gonna go to item H, rules. Mr. Lewis? And speaking of old, I didn't realize Dr. Weston was your orthodontist. Holy cow. That is old.
The only one I ever needed.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Reyes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, Commissioners, Robert Reyes, Assistant General Counsel. I'm presenting the Industrialized Housing and Building Rule Package that amends Chapter 110, Section 70.60E of the Texas Administrative Code. The proposed rule amendment will allow an employee of a third-party inspection agency or a design review agency to also be the team lead for the initial certification of a manufacturing plant. The proposed amendment would expand the pool of candidates for this position to the team leads of the third-party inspection agency, who is responsible for regular in-plant inspections of the manufacturer, or the design review agency, who is responsible for the review of the manufacturer's design package. The remaining language in the rule will still allow the department to perform the certifications if necessary, and of course, provide oversight. The proposed rule is necessary to allow the department the ability to focus its limited resources on long-term risk-based auditing of these plants. Again, the adoption of this rule does not bar the department from conducting the initial certification of the plant. It merely allows this additional option to occur. This option will be helpful when plants are in far-off regions of the nation or international in their location. The proposed rule was published in the Texas Register on November 29th of 2024. The comment period closed December 30th, 2024. No comments were received during the comment period. Therefore, no changes were made to the proposed rule. The proposed rule is being presented for your review and vote as it was published in the Texas Register. I recommend that you adopt the proposed rule amendment with an effective date of April 1st, 2025. I, as well as program staff, are available to answer any questions that y'all may have at this time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Is this rule required by statute or just we need to do that? We're doing it.
This rule is necessary, sir, because we only have 5 staff available in this section as part of the division. They can go anywhere and everywhere. They have to go anywhere and everywhere. For example, fiscal year 2022, there were 17 initial plant certifications completed. Fiscal year 23 increased that to 21, and fiscal year 24 went up again by 5 to 26. That means they're out of office. That means they can't do what we need to keep on going with the administration of the rules in the agency. So this will help them do what they need to do. These agencies and these persons that would be allowed to do it are also vetted by the Code Council. Upon the advice of the staff, the Code Council reviews their applications, approves them during the Code Council meetings. So everybody has been vetted, everybody knows what they're doing. So in response, that's a long way of saying it's necessary, not just something we want to do just to do. It's necessary to keep the administration going.
Y'all feel comfortable? Raise your hand up because something goes wrong. Don't.
Okay, all right, any other questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Reyes.
Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, commissioners, we're gonna go to item I, which is the commission work groups. Now, I had, you guys send me in which ones you want to participate in, so I just try to fill everybody's request. They're in front of you. We will be adding one more, which would be the midwife work group. And I think, Dr. Callis, Commissioner Hyde, and Vice Chair Butler were wanting to do. If there's anybody else that wants to push into that, let me know. But I have to limit, again, I have to limit to 3. So, but I think that if that's with that, we can we add that to this work group list without having to go do it again? Let's just add that if you don't mind. Commissioners Callis, Hyde, Butler, you good?
Yes,
With that?
Yes, sir.
Good, good. Okay. So commissioners, again, this is in a static document. It's a fluid. If you want to adjust, let us know. If you want to be moved. You guys responded to me. I think I filled everybody in what they wanted to be. Some of these work groups won't be perpetual. They'll be temporary. But I think there are opportunities, especially with this legislative session coming on board. And we'll be able to dive into quickly, especially legislative review. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Chair, I want to ask you a question. This, I know we're going to get to the answer of what it is, but I want to, what is that, institutionalize this work group. Council, does the statute allow us to set those work groups? If not, we can authorize the chair to do that one. Is that fair or clear?
Doug Jennings, General Counsel for TDLR. Commissioner Drockstrom, the statute doesn't speak specifically to work groups. But we certainly have always interpreted our statute and the power of the commission and power of the chairman to have this authority. In TDLR rule, we do recognize, we do have some procedural rules for the commission. And one of them dictates that we will abide where there are these questions by Robert's Rules of Order, the most recent edition, and which is the 12th edition. And there is language in the 12th edition that supports the chairman making the appointment of work.
No, I'm not talking about the creation of the group. So do we need a motion to create the group so that it's institutionalized, that we do have those groups? And then we can do the rest of that? Or do you see the validity of that?
Whatever you are comfortable with. But to me, I think we have ample authority to create and appoint and reorganize.
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Unless you are.
No. If you're good right there.
I appreciate the question, Commissioner Drockstrom.
Thank you.
Again, Commissioner, there's everybody moves. So if you want to adjust, again, I have to retain it to 3. If there's something that you want to push into, let me know. I know we got a lot going on with human trafficking, the licensing system, legislative session. There's a lot to eat on. So plenty at the buffet. So pony up and we'll be happy to do it. All right. So that's item I. Item J, which is executive reports.
Mr. Chair, before we get to I, can I talk a little bit about the work groups and specifically the human trafficking?
Yeah.
Is this a good time? Or
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So, old people are talking.
People are talking, yes. Back in early summer, August, when did we start working on the human trafficking? Sometime around then. In communication with the chairman, he allowed me the latitude to start working on this human trafficking project, and thank you for that. Just kind of want to update everybody where we're at on that. We've got some draft legislation over to the Senate. The Senate.
Commissioner Butler, I'm so sorry, but Chairman, I think procedurally here, if we could, I think there are some legislative updates in the executive reports.
You got a better
If we
place?
can tie this discussion to that, but I think we do need to bring,
Okay.
I'll jump in as needed.
Yeah, sounds good. So we'll kind of put a period on that part of it. We have been in some communication with different law enforcement agencies. We've got some liaisons worked out, some good relationships. I think since I was just my chain was just pulled, there's less that I can talk about. But I want to thank you. And there are a couple of people that I want to thank, Sajid and Rick. I guess I'll have a fuller report sometime down the road, but I feel like we've gotten so far down the road that I do need to share some things with you. And it's just not time, I guess.
We
So-
can do it through the reports, legislative reports. I'll be,
Okay.
how about, I can pause for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's great.
But no,
That's great.
I do want to hear it, and I think it's
Yeah.
important. So when Courtney goes into legislative reports, I'll make sure to recognize you on that.
Sure thing, and Chairman and Commissioner Butler, if we get a little far afield, I'll jump in. But just wanted to make it clear, since it does look like we have, a legislative update, we can have some discussion, obviously no decision.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Chair, I think I want to echo what Commissioner Butler, Vice Chair Butler has been saying. I think his approach, I think he misspoke, but the big issue is that as part of the anti-human trafficking, we've seen how many, about 19 or something closures or, things are going in. And with his connection, with his friendships back in the Houston area, he's been talking to a couple of law enforcement, to see how we can partner and coordinate and do better stuff. That's just of the picture, what he was trying to tell.
And I want you to add on when we do the legislative.
Commissioners, if it's okay, I'll start my update, which is on this topic. Yesterday, we presented to Senate Finance and we talked about some of the process improvements we've made, and how TDLR has a long history of supporting the legislature on deregulation efforts and streamlining rule language to make it simple for our constituents to know what we're trying to tell them and to follow the requirements. That 5 minutes went really fast for our agency, which, by the way, Commissioner Druckstrom made it just in time to hear the presentation. Thank you for being there. Also, Adam Colby, the director of the FCIC, joined us in the room, which the 5 minutes was fast and he didn't have a chance to be called up. But the one comment we heard at the very end from Chair Huffman was the efficiency or the effectiveness of what we've been able to accomplish and how they really want to support it. So the one question we received was, and she assured me she didn't need to hear from us yesterday, but they wanted us to go back to the team and talk through it, was what else do you need? Have you asked for enough? And that is in part because of our the work we've done. 19 emergency orders issued, 40 establishments closed. There's a full court press with everybody in this room and online watching the meeting, and our staff who have embraced our role as regulators in fighting this crime to the extent we can. Our legal team, our policy, our program people, in fact, everybody's worked really hard. When we've been asked and we've weighed in on legislation from many different offices, I did want to mention, and Commissioner Butler, if you'd like to talk a little bit about what we've done on the Human Trafficking Intelligence Center concept that Senator Middleton filed and anything else, but we're just becoming known as a real resource and an effective tool in the fight. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, Courtney. And I have to sing your praises as well for how quickly you've acted on these things and steering us in the right direction and being available, whether it's to speak to the district attorney in some Podunk County somewhere. You take the time to do that. And I want to thank you and your staff who you brought, and you brought a seriousness to it and a level of attention that is impressive to the DAs that we've talked to. Again, here on the commission, I've got to thank Rick. I've got to thank Sajid for what they've done. I think, once again, the legislature looks to us to lead the way in so many things. We are the gold standard, and that's why they're so differential. I've heard 4 times now how well the meeting went yesterday and how they're saying, tell us what you need to combat this. I know it's of primary importance to the governor, and he's shown us that by providing resources, hard dollars, to so many different initiatives, NGOs, law enforcement, to combat this. There are reports that up to 300,000 people are trafficked in Texas. That's unacceptable. And so we're taking some first steps. It's very serious steps. And what you're doing today as an agency, as employees, as leadership, as commissioners, will echo through time, because you will be saving lives. You will be saving people from a miserable existence that they know today. In the future, they're going to look back and say, holy smoke, I was saved from this human trafficking, the sex trafficking and labor trafficking, the bondage that they were in. They'll look to us today for that freedom that they experienced down the road. And that'll echo through generations. So I want to thank you, the staff, who take the time to do these important things, to drive all over Texas, to meet with these people, because it is of primary importance. And I think you show that by your time and by your efforts. And I think I've probably talked too much, as I often do, but I just want to say thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to say, I'm very thankful for not only our law enforcement. Also, I spoke last week to the governor twice in long meetings to let him know that TDLR stands at arms with him and his leadership, not only with the staff of TDLR, but also the law enforcement from FBI to DPS. Thank you, DPS, for sacrificing your own family to maintain the control that we have at our border. But also, more importantly, that we are literally finding out that there is so much sex trafficking that I'm glad the governor made it a part of our basically CME, including all physicians have to do the same CME for sex trafficking. As we're moving forward, I will tell you that border crossings have gone down from thousands to 140 to 150 a day. We're also seeing fentanyl deaths decrease from 5 per day. We're very excited about that. But with that being said, I want to thank the 3 commissioners that you mentioned, Commissioner Butler. I think that we have a complaint-driven organization, but we need to take every complaint very seriously, because if we can save one child, we're doing our job. I would love to save all these children and all these men and women that are being trafficked, but we need to stay committed. And thank you for your time, Mr. Butler. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have we been given additional money for this?
Actually, in our exceptional items through the strategic planning process and in the exceptional items, we requested a few things. The one thing that was added to our base budget already was 10 additional FTEs and the appropriation authority for those. So they've already said that is likely going to be in the final approved budget, and then ask what else we might need. So that almost doubles the number of FTEs, and then we'll talk early next week about what else we might need.
Commissioner Doctorow.
Well, I want to applaud you, but first, I think, you've been hearing a new word in Washington DC called a Doge or something, shut down this agency or something.
We've heard of it.
Yeah, you heard about it. So I want you to comment that they're starting right now, and you started 6 months ahead. We were 6 months ahead of the schedule right now, where you've been shutting down those parlors right there. So we know the Doge pretty good in advance, right? Is that a fair statement? Thank you.
Good job. All right. Continue on.
That would be it, except I just wanted to commend the team. This laser focus you're seeing on this is also happening in a lot of different areas of the agency. We have a great team that puts together dashboards. Well, you know these staff. There's a ton of expertise. The way they monitor things and then recommend change and process improvement, I think speaks to the heart of this agency, and why when topics like Doge come up, some agencies get nervous and others don't. There is always more we can do to streamline government for people, but we have a long history of doing it, and it's in the fabric of the agency to do that. So I hope you will see through these months that we'll be a leader in some ways in giving recommendations. We've already been asked by some offices about some things that we've seen success, and that is the people in the room.
Chair, if I ask, I think last time you mentioned that we're going to be having a dashboard or something of the places we shut down. Is that coming online or it's internal right now?
We have a heat map already developed that we can send to you that shows the locations, and then we have a table which shows the emergency orders and the cities.
Is that for public consumption or just, is that something?
I believe it's, the heat map is on the website. If not, our plan was to place it on the website, so it's
Look into
headed
that.
there.
Yeah, look into that. Thank you.
And then we have a couple of other updates from our deputies. I'll start with Steve Bruno.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Steve Bruno, Deputy Executive Director for Licensing Services, also serving as interim and acting Director of Education and Examination with the retirement of Mr. Pizarro. Thank you for allowing me a brief moment to brag about staff who I am honored to work with every day. In customer service, we've got 52 folks now. Director Craig Howard has really done an amazing job of getting some of the vacancies hired up. Those 52 folks, you've got the reports, the numbers, in your report. I've got some January numbers to share. Total 41,489 contacts in 1 month answered by our team in customer service. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for the work that you do. In education and examination division, a tiny but mighty division, as a lot of my staff call it, and I love that term. We're in constant process improvement mode, as we've recently been talking about with other items. I've got a couple of examples to share. 17 people responsible for such incredible work of supporting the schools, the continuing education providers, all that our licensees need and our future licensees who are students are going to need. Incredible work. A couple of examples. I was talking with the staff recently about what would seem like a minor issue on an application form. We discussed the reasons for asking certain questions. Do we need this information or not? And it was decided that there was some information we didn't need, and that saved a little bit of time. And when you multiply that, as you all know, by the numbers we have, we see real impacts. We've had some incredible successes with a project. When we inherited the health programs, there was a different model of continuing education than our older programs. And there's been an effort that's been underway with several divisions working together, and the education and exam team has been really innovative in the way that they're thinking and being able to make sure that we are not holding up any licensees in health professions because of CE. We've got an amazing process to make sure that CE is completed and that licenses are put out properly, quickly and properly to those who need them. So I want to thank every member of the education and exam division. One thing that I've noticed since stepping in, change is always something to navigate. We've lost a longtime director in Ray Pizarro. Like all of the staff I'm privileged to work with, the members of education and examination are passionate about helping, and that's what we love. Finally, to the 71 members of the licensing division, I want to say thank you. You all receive a monthly report from me, and I'm really happy to share some recent numbers from February. You have your report by program, and when you look down, you see that in December, there were 33,571 licenses renewed, 16,588 new licenses issued, and currently the number of applications to process is in the 700s, which is an incredibly low number in our current workload to see when we look at our history. Elevator reports is one example I'll highlight. Those numbers used to be in the tens of thousands process. Right now, 341.
Wow.
Thank you. I can't say thank you enough to my team. And it's an honor to be able to share this information with you and represent them. It's an honor to work with them every day. And I'll just again say thank you. And I'd like to add a thank you to our executive director, Courtney. Yesterday was one of the most exciting moments that I've ever been around in my history at the Capitol. I was so proud for you to represent us. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I could say that about my boss. I just did. Thank you. Thank you, boss. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's my report. Quick update. You all had asked for an update on the behavior analyst program. We have, through the new certifying entity that you all recognize, we now have 19 new licensees. We have 12 behavior analysts and 7 assistants as of yesterday.
Yeah. Mr. Bruno, I just want to say, your passion for your employees and your programs is infectious. And you get so excited about it, and it makes me smile. But I also want to say thank you to your enforcement team, your education team and examinations, your licensing team. I didn't mean enforcement, that just kind of snuck out. But thank you to your staff. You brought the license backlog down to nothing. And that's impressive, right? When we oversee 1 million licensees in the state of Texas, to do that, that's yeoman's work. That's incredible. And I just want to applaud you and your team. So thank you for making us look good, yes, right? And that's hard to do. So
true. All right. Yes, sir. Thanks, Commissioner.
When we see about 16 weeks of backlog, I think, you're probably getting extra credit, but there's someone right there who's been pushing pretty hard right there. No, you're doing pretty good right there. See. But bottom line I'm saying is, people say Doge or something, we are ahead of the curve right now. That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
We know what we're doing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you, commissioners.
Okay.
Susanna? Good morning, commissioners. Susanna Holt-Catrone, Deputy Executive Director over Regulatory Services. I am really enjoying working with
Ron, Chris, and Charlotte. And just wanted to give a few highlights from those divisions.
Who's your favorite?
Well, Charlotte made the cake today.
Don't answer that question.
It's Valentine's Day, so we all have sweets.
Is that an enforcement question?
No, don't answer the question.
There's cake.
We always have cake.
Go ahead, Susan. I'm sorry for the interruption.
The compliance division has conducted over 80,000 technical inspections this fiscal year. The consumer protection team has, as recently as this week, offered additional training to retailers who have failed to report skimmers. Courtney, Brandy, and I attended a water well inspection and observed the camera being lowered into the well to identify the depth at which the well failed, and observed the team's knowledge, not only their extensive knowledge, but their collaboration with the local groundwater district on site that day to ensure that any environmental impact was addressed. As you heard from Mr. Reyes and the presentation of the rule package today, we do have staff working with building and safety and the IHB team to process, map, and identify bottlenecks in that program. They are limited in staff, and we are looking for every available resource in which to streamline their efforts. In field inspections, the combative sports program now has distributed all of the Texas logos, the Texas patch, and placed them on the officials have now placed them in a uniform place on their shirts. We've gotten some photos of that, and they look great. Statewide, the inspections team has cured almost 1,300 violations on site in this last reporting period, and they have submitted 773 case violations direct to enforcement. With regard to the human trafficking efforts, the legal team has served 19 executive orders, as Courtney mentioned, on IMBs to date, with more in the pipeline. I continue to support flexibility in the interpretation of the existing authority the agency has in combating the challenge of human trafficking in the programs that we license. In your materials, I also want to note the increase of 13% in departmental complaints this fiscal year since a similar period last year. This is in large part due to direct to enforcement referrals. At the end of FY24, the inspections team was fully staffed and trained, underscoring the importance of having a full staff. On that note, the Regulatory Services Division's vacancy rates are getting very close to being in single digits, and the prosecution's team has been working hard in enforcement and is nearing the end of their selection process to fill their vacant prosecutor positions. So thank you. I look forward to getting to know all of you more and working with you going forward. If you have any questions now or in the future, I'm happy to assist.
Great job. Any questions? Commissioner Oshram, I know you're excited about the patch. Good job.
I don't know what patch is that one. I think, Chair.
I'm sorry, I started.
What would Doge say about the
Yeah. Be efficient about the patchwork.
Well, I think, they say that on our referees are doing a good job. That's what it is. Because I want to say something. I was at a combat sport event in January in Houston area. I want to say the first time I've seen all female referees right there inside the ring right there. And I was shocked looking at them. They're very effective, very fast, and doing a good job right there. So I want to thank Chris and the folks. I think hopefully the bare knuckle will come up with a new plan right there whenever it is.
All right. Courtney, anything on?
Last update is from Brandy Myers.
Brandy.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Couple of quick things. I'm gonna really stay focused more on legislative session right now since it is our hot topic. As of today, there are over 3,900 bills that have been filed. And of that amount, we are tracking 276 as of this morning. I'm pretty sure that number has already risen since I wrote that number down just a couple of hours ago. It is a fast and furious process. And of those 276, 169 of them which also increased just this morning, have fiscal notes attached to them that we have been requested to provide. So I want to give a shout out to Alex and Jeff and Tony and everybody that works with this team in order for us to get the legislation numbers, cost estimates, and everything put together. It's a rat race, and they do an incredible job of keeping it organized, put together, and keeping the leadership team on task and on track with what we need to be paying close attention to. And so I want to thank you all for that. The next thing I want to get into, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go backwards. We still have 1 month left for bill filing as of today. So it'll be interesting to see what the total number is on average. Mr. Kopis has indicated that we usually track around 400 to 500 bills. So there's still more to come. Stay tuned. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We actually have our first bill hearing next week. Those are starting on Tuesday with the Business and Commerce Committee. And so here we go. The next thing I want to bring up, you have in your materials, is some changes that we're making to the advisory board process. And so first I want to take an opportunity to thank Derek Burkhalter, Jane Weber, and our advisory board staff for their efforts in making these changes. I also want to thank the commissioners for bringing this to our attention and allowing us the time to work on this initiative. In your packet, you will have advisory board applicant, in your packet, you will see a new process, which we now have our applicants complete a conflict of interest form, which contains questions that are designed to address any potential conflict of interest issues that could arise within the selection process. We have enhanced the procedures to include a section that specifically lists the criteria that we use for the selection process. And the intended purpose of this is just to clearly outline what our parameters are relating to the choosing of our advisory board members. And you do have that document as well. It's got some highlighted bullets on it in your packets. And then to further support this endeavor, we've also incorporated the set of criteria into the proposed recommendations memo that you will see when when we are appointing the advisory board members. And so you have that to see what we're looking at when we're making the final determinations on the selected candidates. And that is on the bottom of page 4 of your memo. And then finally, an advisory board code of conduct has been developed, also included in your materials. And all of our members must adhere to this during their service to TDLR as an advisory board member. It's also stated the purpose is to provide ethical and behavioral guidance for our members as they serve TDLR and the state. So we're hoping that these changes will further enhance our existing agency procedures. And I just want to thank you for that.
Great. Thank you again, Commissioner, for that. Thank you for the advice on that. And remember, we're always recruiting. So if you have people who would be good candidates for these advisory boards, it would be great. The pay is wonderful. The benefits are outstanding. So, all right,
Chairman,
just
just a quick second. Susanna, I wanted to thank you. First for coming on board to the TDLR, and then trying to come up to speed as quickly as you can with all that you have to say, Grace, over. We're all rowing in the same direction again, and it's a beautiful thing, and you can see the results. And Brandy, thank you for all that you've done as well. We've got an incredible leadership team. Commissioner Droxarom said the other day, we're a woman-owned business, right? In many ways. And so, but we're all rowing in the same direction again. And I think people look to the captain, which is Courtney. And I think the results are beginning to speak for themselves, right? So, we have tremendous trust and faith in you. I would ask the staff to please have trust and faith in the commission as we try to guide the commission for the next 20 or 30 years. We play a small part in y'all being the gold standard. Y'all play the majority of it because you do the daily work. And I want to thank you all for that. So thank you for joining us. Brandy, thank you for what you do every day. And that's all, Mr. Chair.
all right.
Thanks.
Okay. Do you have any other comments?
Chair, I want to thank Council Derek for the advisory board, the code of conduct, what he prepared. Really appreciate what it is. Is there a specific reason you have 10 of them? They may be called something else. It was like a 10 commandment. Just kidding.
Again, nobody's paying off for humor. Go ahead, Courtney. Anything else?
I think that concludes our updates for today, but thank you.
Excellent. All right, commissioners, I think we are at a record pace here. I don't think there's anything else on the agenda.
Chairman, sorry to
Oh.
jump in here, but one thing I wanted to ask you about, if we could jump back to I and the question about agenda item I. Are you prepared to make, you know, to announce the work groups and the members, or is that something we need to take care of?
We already did, didn't we?
I think you referred to it, but I wasn't.
I thought he
sure.
already announced it.
I think I did. I did on the handouts here.
Right, I wasn't sure, and I'm just asking for clarification before we get out of here. Did we simply add one work group? and
Yes,
some
the
members?
midwife work group was added. It was Dr. Callis,
Okay,
Commissioner Vice Chair Butler, and Commissioner Hine.
okay, are we creating or rearranging members from any other groups?
No, and unless needed, no.
Okay, great,
Which
I just
we're
wanted
good.
to
It's just
clear
a work
that up before we adjourn, thank
No,
you.
that-
You were too busy not letting me talk to you.
It's a full-time job. All right, no, and again, commissioners, if there's something, again, I gotta keep it 3. If there's something that you want to be on it, let me know. I'll be happy to do. We got a lot to chew on. I know Courtney and the team's done a great job. Can't agree more with Commissioner Butler, Commissioner Doctorom's efforts and kudos for this. There will be a change to the next meeting. We're gonna go April 15th. So we're gonna move that commission date to Tuesday.
Tax day, you take our tax?
Tax day, yes, tax day. So if you're a tax line, that's your problem.
Chairman,
So, yes,
regarding our positions here, are we waiting for the individual chairman to contact?
yes, great question, Commissioner. Yeah, I've assigned everybody chair and, Dr. Callis, why don't you chair the midwife? You don't mind, or either Butler, you don't mind, that's fine, you go ahead and chair. Chairs, you know what, let Butler do it, 'cause I know you're managing a lot with the medical association, so why don't we let Butler?
That's
do it?
fine. I'd rather just be the medical expert with being a physician on there.
Thank you.
Butler said you weren't that good. anyway,
No,
so-
don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
So, Butler, chair, make that note, Commissioner, or Vice Chair Butler, chair that midwife,
The midwife.
yes, please.
So the midwife, work group is the only new work group?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And everything else is static. Each chair will need to call a meeting, and we'll have to go through each, at least go through the formality of it once a year. You can meet more than that, for sure, especially during legislative sessions if there's more needed, but for at least once a year, and you can start at any point in time.
So like his knuckle or what?
Bare knuckle man?
Yeah.
That would go into the combative sports, which is chaired by Commissioner Callis.
Correct. So.
The Commissioner Callis called me.
Okay, so Chairman, and I just want to make sure all of this is captured on the record. So we have created a combative sports work group.
It's already there.
Okay, could you go over the membership, please? So we have that on the record.
Would you like me to read them?
Yes, please.
All
Yeah, if there have been any changes or additions, I just want to make sure we're being.
Okay,
fully transparent.
let me go through this. Well, I'll be happy for the record.
Thank you.
Audit Finance is Chair Butler, Castaneda member, Wesson member, Legislative Review /Bill, Dr. Callis, Commissioner Doctrom, Commissioner High. Human Resources is Figueroa, Chair Butler, member, Wesson member. Innovations, Wesson, Chair, West Castaneda and High member. Strat Plan is Butler, Chair, Doctrom member, High member. Enforcement is Wesson, Chair, Butler member, Doctrom member. Anti-human trafficking is Butler, Chair, Callis member, Castaneda member. Combative sports is Callis Chair, Castaneda member, Figueroa member. And behavioral health is Wesson Chair, High member, and Callis member. And then midwife will be Vice Chair, Butler Chair, High, and Callis.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I
No,
appreciate
it's
that.
for the record. We don't want to miss that. Okay. April 15th will be the next commission
Chairman,
date.
I'm so sorry to keep interrupting.
You're
We have
killing
just-
me here,
We have
Doug.
just found out that the 15th, we had the meeting slated for April 9th.
Right.
And we agreed that the 15th would work in principle. We have found out that board is using this room in the morning for their meeting that they had scheduled. So we can have potentially an afternoon meeting on the 15th, or we would need to change the date.
Let me do this.
Information.
Let's put a TBD.
Okay.
Let's put it, I'll survey the commissioners. we'll put it TBD and, we'll go from there.
Would you like me to interrupt you again?
Yes.
You just did, but that's good.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah. You're doing great. I'm used to it from Dr. Strong, but I mean, I just came left field here. All right, anything else?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
On the future, on the recommended, future, I would like to see, we add a tab on the enforcement of the massage parlors. So we can keep tab of that and we can convey this as a medium to the folks that we are very serious with the directive being given at the legislative side. And probably we've got to see an update of whatever it is they have done between now till
So
next.
you would, let me be clear, you understand, Commissioner. You would like to have a report from the executive director on the enforcement of.
Thank you. You got it. Thank you.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Perfect. Outstanding. Anything else? All right. Well, hey, guys, I cannot tell you, team, it's a great day. It's in the spring and TDLR. You guys are doing great. I know legislative session is in full swing. We appreciate your effort. If you need any one of us as commissioners at any single point in time, please let us know. We know that it can get a little crazy here. And if you don't, we will stay out of your way. That will be our goal, is to stay out of your way. You're doing your job well. So thank you again and have a happy Valentine's Day. Wait, need a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.